Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Costa Mesa Sanitary District's Town Hall meeting regarding our proposed solid waste rates. My name is Scott Carroll. I'm the General Manager for the Costa Mesa Sanitary District. We don't have a big crowd tonight, but we're still going to go through the presentation because we are filming this presentation, so if members of the public cannot be here tonight, they will at least be able to watch it on our website as we record all our public meetings. First off, I would like to say that if you're upset regarding the proposed solid waste rates, we understand their frustration because we do not like doing rate increases as well. This is why we try to keep the rate stabilized for the past 15 years. In fact, this will be the first rate increase in 15 years. As you'll see later in the presentation by Nabila Guzman, the primary reasons for the rate increase is due to our organics recycling program, which we were the first public organization in Southern California to implement such a program. So I am going to turn over to Nabila Guzman. She's going to go over the details of why we're doing a rate increase. This is what we have to do by law. We have to justify these rate increases, so she'll give you the explanation, and then we'll open up to questions and go from there. After tonight's meeting, the next meeting will be the Board of Supervisors study session meeting on March 13th, I believe that is, March 13th, March 12th, March 13th, one of those dates. March 12th? 12th, thank you, March 12th. It's a study session meeting at 9:30 in the morning. That's the meeting where the board will adopt or approve one of the two options being considered tonight. And then we will put that in a proper Prop 218 notice, and that notice will be mailed out to all the property owners in the Costa Mesa Sanitary District service area. And then the board will have a protest hearing in May, and if there is no majority protest, then those new rates will go into effect on July 1st. So with that, I will turn over to Nabila, and she will give her presentations, and then we'll be happy to answer any questions. So.
Good evening. My name is Nabila Guzman, and I will be presenting tonight. So as my general manager said, this is the first rate increase in the last 15 years. In fact, we've had 2 rate decreases in 2012 and 2013. And as you can see in the chart below, the first rate decrease was in 2012. It went from $239.41 annually to $228. And then it went down again in 2012, another $2 for the current rate of $216 a year. Why we need a rate increase? The district's goal is to have at least $2 million in reserves. The district charges our trash, assesses our trash on property taxes, so we get the money twice a bill when property owners pay their taxes. So that we do have a dry period, which is from June through October, where no money is coming in, but the district still has invoices. The $2 million in reserves helps pay these invoices during the months no money is coming in. Also, the organics program. In 2014, the residents were advised that to implement an organics program, a rate increase would be needed to cover the cost. CMSD has been subsidizing the organics program with its reserves since 2015. Those reserves are running low, which is why we need a rate increase. The organics program also was implemented because of AB 1383, which is a mandate that the state has that they want to reduce the organic material in landfills by 50% starting in 2020. We were the first agency to roll this program out, so luckily by next year when the mandate becomes effective, we are already in compliance. Lastly, per the new CRNR contract signed last year, CRNR is able to come once a year and request a CPI increase to their rates. They have not had a rate increase in the last 10 years, and the request will go to the Board of Directors for approval. So it's not automatic, but again, if the Board of Directors approves it, the district must budget and be able to pay those rates. A rate and feasibility study was done. The district went out to bid, and then the contractor, MBS Government Services, conducted the study over the last 4 months. These are our monthly payments to CRNR. We pay an occupancy rate, which is the cost of CRNR stopping in each house and picking up the trash carts. We pay $979.54 per unit. We also pay a mixed waste tonnage. That is all the tonnage that is collected in the mixed waste cart. So that again fluctuates month to month. It depends how much the residents throw away. And that rate is $51.97 per ton. And then organic tonnage, all the material in the organics cart, we do have the lowest rate guaranteed for the life of our contract, and it is currently at $71.50. Currently, cities, again, because of the mandate AB 1383, cities are struggling to implement an organics program, and if they want to contract with CRNR, the starting tonnage right now is over $120. So we are paying $71.50, and we are guaranteed the lowest rate. Currently, our service is 2 mixed waste carts and up to 2 organics carts. Residents have an option of 65 and 35 gallons, and a lot of our residents who have been homeowners for a while have those grandfather 90-gallon carts. So it's a service of 4 carts for $216 a year or $18 a month, and again, that rate has been stable for the last 5 years. The district also offers all these programs at no additional cost. They are included in the rates, such as our large item pickup. These are 3 pickups a year of 30 items or 30 items a year. Our door-to-door household hazardous waste program, which rolled out with the implementation of our new contract July 1st of 2018. Residents are allowed 3 pickups a year of 125 pounds. We have here at the district and at 2 pharmacies within the district boundaries a Sharps collection program. We have 2 pharmaceutical waste collection drop boxes so where residents can dispose of unwanted or expired medication. We also sponsor a light bulb, light tubes, and battery collection program at OCC Recycling Center. The OCC Recycling Center also collects fat, oil, and grease. So during Thanksgiving, if residents fry a turkey and they don't know what to do with all the fog, they can dispose of it at the OCC Recycling Center for free, and that gets recycled into soap or pet food. In fall of last year, the district also implemented an American flag retirement drop box. We were finding a lot of American flags in our collection stream, so we decided to implement this drop box so we can give the flags a proper burial. We also have a battery collection contest for schools within district boundaries. We currently have 18 schools participating this year, and it is a contest based on how much is collected, and these schools win money for their schools. This year, we'll be having a free annual mulch giveaway. The mulch will be provided by CRNR from the organics program, and the event this year will be April 27th, Saturday, April 27th at the OCC Recycling Center. It'll be an event combined with our annual textile collection event. The textile industry is the second largest pollutant, or the second biggest waste stream that ends up in landfills, so we are trying to divert and repurpose all the clothes. Our partner this year is Clothes for the Cause. Money raised from the event will go towards the battery collection program. The clothes is, if it's in good condition, reused. If it's in bad condition, it is torn up and used as cleaning cloths, stuffing for cars. So all of it is reused, and so far that local nonprofit has kept over 3 million tons of material from the landfill. So we are very excited about that. This is the recommended option based on the CAC's initial feedback in January. It is a one-time rate increase of 10% 10.83%. The rates would go up $195 per unit a month, and a total of $23.40 a year for a new total of $239.40 annually. These are the rates that the district had between 2005 and 2011. And as you can see at the bottom, our rates this fiscal year 2016, starting July 1st, if adopted, our rates would go up to $19.95 a month or $239.40. The rates would be stable for the next 2 fiscal years, which at the time, and during this time, the district would research the feasibility of going to a tier rate structure. During that January CAC meeting, the committee members expressed interest in having a tier rate variable system, so meaning residents with a 90-gallon cart which have the ability to throw away more, would be charged more than those that have a 35-gallon cart. We could not implement a tier rate system at the moment because the district does not have an accurate listing of what size carts each residence has. So it would be ill-advised for the district to adopt a tier rate system without completely knowing. Sorry, someone's trying to get in, and they're trying. So with this option, the district would have a one-time rate increase, and during this time, we would implement a new billing system. We would verify all the cart data, and in fiscal year 21-22, a new rate study would be done, and new rates would be adopted. Our rates would be cart size based. So if you have a 90-gallon cart, your monthly and annual rate would be more expensive than those residents that only have 35-gallon. This recommended option does not eliminate our deficit, but it will bring in over $600,000 in additional revenue needed. So hopefully in 2 years, when we do another rate study, the rate increases would not be as high. Like I said, this option does not eliminate our deficit, so a new rate study and new rates would need to be adopted by fiscal year 21-22. If not, as you can see in the graph, by fiscal year 22, our reserves drop below $2 million. And as I mentioned before, we need those $2 million in reserves to pay our bills during the months that no revenue is brought in. This is the alternative option. It's a flat rate increases for all cart sizes. So it's keeping the same rate system that we currently have, where all residents, regardless of the size carts they have, pay the same rate. This would be a 33% overall rate increase over the next 5 years. The first year, we would see a 7% increase. The second year and third year, we would see another 7% rate increase. And the last 2 fiscal years, we would see a 6% rate increase. And as you can see in the chart, those are the annual and monthly rates. It is a total of $73.23 increase over the next 5 years. So starting July 1st, if this option is adopted, our monthly rates would go from $18 to $18.74. By year 5, our monthly rates would be $24.10. And again, the basic level of service would be the same. Residents would still be getting 2 mixed waste cards and up to 2 organic cards, regardless of size. The 90 gallons would still be grandfathered in, and so residents would have the options between the 60 and the 35. With option 1, the tier rate system, if that is adopted, the 90-gallon carts would come back. So if residents wanted to switch to a 90-gallon cart and currently have a 60, would have that option to do it. This is a rate comparison with other cities in Orange County. In the gray bar is our current rate of $18 a month, and the orange bar is the proposed rate of the recommended option of $19.95. And as you can see, even by year 5, if option 2 is adopted, year 5 would be $24.10 a month, and I believe Placentia is currently paying $24.78. So we would now we would be on the higher level, but not the highest. Again, with AB 1383 being implemented next year, all of these cities would need to have an organics program, so they would see costs going up. They would need to pass that cost down to their ratepayers, so all of these rates could be different in the next few months. This is a comparison of revenue requirements. Our revenue requirements are the blue charts. Our current rate revenue is that black line. So as you can see, we are charging a lot less than what we're paying. Revenue, the green dots would be revenue under the proposed rate of the one-time increase of $19.95, and then the possible 5-3 2-year rate increase in 2 years, which would be, again, unknown at this time because we don't know what our cost would be in the future. And the gray dashes are revenues under the alternative rates, which is the 5-year rate increase. This item went back to the Citizens Advisory Committee earlier this month, and they changed 3 committee members were missing, and they ended up, their recommendation to the board for adoption is recommendation 2, which is the 5-year rate increase, flat rate increase. They were worried about the unknowns with option 1, because again, option 1 just is a one-time rate increase, and increases in the future are unknown. And for the district to implement a tier rate system, we would need to acquire a new billing system that's about $60,000. And we would need to hire a consultant to verify cart size data, which would be another $40,000. So that is an approximate cost of $140,000 just, and we would need another rate increase. So they were afraid of the unknowns with option 1, so their recommendation was option 2, which again would be the rates listed on the graph. We still have 2 public meetings left, like my general manager said. On March 12th, it'll go back to the board of directors with the CAC recommendation, and then it'll be a public hearing on May 23rd, which is when the directors will make a choice between option 1 and 2. And whatever option is adopted will go into effect July 1st, 2019. So on your property taxes later this fall, you would either see option 1 or option 2 of the rate increases. This concludes my presentation, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. Yes?
Question on the tiered rates for the different size cans. Do you have any numbers on, what you think?
We have an estimate. The district has never kept track. The carts are issued by CRNR. They buy and issue the carts, or when you replace a cart because it's broken, they are the one that has the inventory, but they are not 100% sure that they have the right data. And again, it would be ill-advised for the district to do a study on data that they have not verified. So we do have an approximate number, but again, we are unsure that those numbers are 100% correct. Which is why option 1 is a one-time rate increase of $195 a month. It'll give the district time 2 years to acquire a new billing system, to verify the data, to do a new rate study, and then come back in year 3 and present a new rate increase to the public. You're welcome. Any other questions? Yes?
Are we allowed to ask questions?
Yes.
I would just summarize, thank you. I'll just summarize a little bit for the members of the public that came in late. So just let me go back here to the, so again, on March 12th, the board's going to consider 2 options for the proposed rates. Option number 1, which is staff's recommendation, and this was based on the CAC's concerns of the indifference of the different cart sizes, that someone who has a 90-gallon cart is paying the same amount as someone who has a 30-gallon cart. It's like a true utility, right? Like if you have a water, the more water you use, the more you're going to pay. It's like your gas. The more gas you use, the more money you're going to pay. The same philosophy with the trash. The more trash you're going to throw away, the more money it's going to cost you. And that was their thinking. And so we didn't feel confident rolling the available rates out right away, or at least making that recommendations right away, because as Nabila mentioned, we weren't very confident in the inventory out there in the community. We know how many 90-gallon carts are there out there. We know how many 60-gallon. We just don't know where they're at. And so we would have to spend like $40,000 on a consultant to get that inventory for us. So that was really the reason why we were proposing right off the bat is option one is the rate increase in 1995, which was the rate we had back in 2015, I think it was, 2005 to 2011. So that was a rate about more than 10 years ago. And then we lowered it because we had excess reserves, so we lowered that rate, and now we're bringing it back to the rate that was back a few years ago. And that's why you have the question marks there, is because we would gather that information on where the carts are located, and then we'd have to do another a rate study, another rate study. So we'll have to spend another $40,000 on a study. And so that study will determine what is the fair price for a 90-gallon, a 60-gallon, and a 30-gallon. And that's why we don't have those numbers, because we have to capture that data. So this is option number one, which we were recommended. And when we brought this to the CAC, the Citizen Advisory Committee, on February 13th, they actually recommended option number two, which is the straight rate. So no matter what size gallons cart you have, you're going to pay the same rate, whether you're a 90-gallon or 30-gallon. The CAC did not believe we should be spending $140,000 for a consultant to capture the inventory, another $60,000 to get the right financial system in place, and prepare another study. There was also concerns that maybe people might cheat, might start throwing their trash in smaller carts. There was just a lot of, they just really didn't feel very comfortable with the system. They felt there was a lot of unanswered questions we couldn't answer. So they're recommending option number two to the board. So these two options will go to the board on March 12th. They will give staff a direction of what plan they want to bring to the community. We would put those proposed rates in a Prop 218 notice that'll be mailed out on April 4th. So it has to be at least 30 days before the board has a hearing, which will be in May. If we don't have a majority protest, the board will adopt those rates, and they'll go in effect on July 1st. So that's basically an overview of those two options. So now I'm happy to answer any questions now.
Can you go to the chart that shows the different cities and municipalities?
Yes.
Unless my eyes are really failing, I don't see Newport Beach up there.
Yeah, they're not up there, and I can't remember why we did not include them.
We have because they charge it on their general fund. We gave it
That's right. Thank you. That's right. So under Newport Beach, the way their system is their solid waste is not a true enterprise fund. In other words, it's not an enterprise fund. Is you pay for the service, like a water bill, like a trash bill. You pay for that service. Under Newport Beach, under their laws, it's paid under the general fund. Now, the general fund is paid what you pay for police and fire and landscaping. So it's out of the general fund. So we really don't know what they're charging, what each resident is being paid. We do know that the residents are paid, like, I think, $3 a month for recycling fee.
recycling fee and their overall.
And so, sure, we can find that information, but that's why we don't have it in here, because all these cities are being charged directly by the haulers or by the cities, where Newport Beach is not.
Which I assume that's why they're not on there.
Yes.
It's the $3 recycling fee that people forget to add to their rate.
Well, they don't have a rate because, remember, they don't get a bill from the city other than the $3 rate. So it's we can calculate, we can estimate how much per household is being paid. I think that's what Nabila's trying to pull up right now. So,
That's fine.
yeah. Any other yes, question?
Oh, okay. It looks to me that I'd rather have someone not care about the size of my container, because years ago when they brought out these new containers,
Mhm.
they just gave us two big ones,
Yes.
90,
90 gallons, yes.
and,
Mhm.
and one recycling one. Well, I hardly fill halfway I have one in the inside of my yard and the other goes out to disperse the stuff. And I ship them back and forth. But if you're gonna count the size of it and charge me for 90 pounds worth of garbage, I don't like that. So
Okay.
then you're gonna have to find out from all the people that you've given the big ones to, how many do they really need?
Yeah, and we're not really worried about the quantity of how many. If you have 10 90-gallon carts, we're not cared about that. We just want to know what the size is at this point. That's what it is, because trying to find how many, the quantities of each one, that's going to be just daunting task. So what we were just really worried about is the size. So if you had one 90-gallon cart and a 60-gallon cart, we were going to charge you the 90-gallon cart. That was our philosophy, the way we were thinking.
Number one choice?
Option number one, yes. Yeah. So we would hire a consultant to go around the community during trash collection day, and they would just, okay, this house has 90-gallon carts, this house has 60-gallon carts. So we have that inventory, how many, and so we can charge the resident the right fee, whatever that fee is going to be on the next study, if the board goes that direction. Like you said, if you're throwing away less trash and you have a 90-gallon cart, then maybe a 60-gallon cart or even a 30-gallon cart can save you a little bit of money.
But I didn't have to pay extra for the 90 gallons.
Right.
And those,
Right.
when they gave them to us, they said, we're not charged for the cart.
Yeah. Understand, when that was rolled out in 2005, regulations were a lot different back then in 2005. We have a ton of regulations now that have been passed by state legislatures that have to divert organics and refuse away from the landfills. The philosophy is if you have a smaller cart, you're throwing away less trash, that means less trash is going to the landfill. That's the thinking.
What if you save it, don't put the cart out on some week because you're gonna fill it?
Yeah.
Like I could fill the 91 if I kept it in the backyard for 3 or 4 extra weeks.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think you'd still be charged that flat rate no matter if you put it out.
Every week.
Yeah, it's that 1 month. So if you put it out once a week or every other week, it's still going to be that rate.
Who's gonna pay for you exchanging my 91s for a smaller size?
There's no cost for that. CNR would do that for us. So there's no additional cost for that. So,
How would they know who's to pay?
You call
yeah.
To schedule a exchange, you call CRNR and they log it into their system. So then they'll take, like if you have a 90, you are returning a 90, now you have a 35, and then the district is told and copied on that email.
And then then they'll tell us, or you call us and we tell the CNR. It doesn't matter. Call CNR or us, and then we'd keep the accurate inventory. So
The need per beach one is
what's that?
the need per beach rates.
What?
Need per beach rates.
That's the net hauler rate. That's not what, we have no idea what the city of Newport Beach charges or what they allocate out of that general fund is what I was trying to get at.
No, we only have in November, it went to the CAC. So at that point, we had an occupancy count for Newport Beach. And in the summer, Balboa Island gets picked up twice a week. So it is it can't be calculated the same. It's not really apples to apples when it comes to the charge. But in November, when we did our research, the district's need to hauler rate was $14.32, and Newport Beach's was $13.74.
Okay.
So it is about $1 difference, but we have an organics program. They don't.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. Yes.
I have 390 cars.
Yes.
Well, it'd be, and we're going flat rate, it would be better in terms, maybe if I don't use, but say I use 2 or try to be, conscious of my trash and use less.
Yeah.
I return them at the flat rate, it doesn't make a difference.
Right. It'll still be the same rate unless you save a three 90 gallon. Now, are you charged a third cart, do you know? Because if some residents are charged a third cart, like, I think it's like $8 a month. So you could turn that in and save some money that way and still have that flat rate. Now, but I don't know what your situation is. But yes, if it's at the flat rate and you go to a smaller cart, it'd still be the flat rate. It's going to, no matter what.
But turning in one of the 90 cards would be different.
If you're paying the additional charge, yeah. Are you getting a bill from CRNR on a monthly rate? Okay, then you're probably not getting paid then. So, but it's up to you. Yeah, but I think we appreciate, you know, you're being conscious of throwing less trash. So if you want to turn one in, we'd gladly accept it. So, yes. Okay. Yes, George.
I'm in the same boat here. I've got two 90 gallons. Originally, I had three 60s, and then when they switched over, they were going to charge me for the third 60, but I could get two 90s for free, so I said, fine. I usually end up tossing out one, maybe two 15-gallon kitchen trash bags per week. So the thing is, got this much stuff in the bottom. Have you considered a tiered rate whereas the truck lifts it and weighs the
Yeah,
trash?
yeah.
And we get billed, because
I-
you're talking, or somebody was saying earlier, you know, charging like electricity and water.
Yeah.
That would be,
I would love to do it that way. Honestly, I would love that. In fact, there's technology out there. Unfortunately, CRNR is just not agreeable to that at this point. I would love to do that. You could weigh the system and really truly know how much you're throwing away. Question for you, though. Do you have a lot of green waste? Do you?
yes, I've got a green waste bin.
Okay. Okay, those two. Okay.
Separate out.
Okay, good. Yeah, I'm finding a lot of communities are going to that rate. They put a little scale on their carts, and so when the truck picks it up, it actually weighs it and it knows how much trash that resident's throwing away, which I think is fantastic. But
I was thinking the truck itself could weigh.
yeah, it's just unfortunately, yeah, we're just not there yet. But that's a great idea. Yes. Yeah. Thank you. Yes.
Go to the rate, the chart that shows the effect of the rates. That one.
That one. Yes.
That shows, let's see, we have about $1 million deficit a year. We're using reserves up to approximately $1 million a year. So that black line is actually after the rate increase is implemented, which is bringing in another $500,000.
The black line is current rates. The black line is our revenue at the moment with $216 a year. The green dots are revenues under option 1, which is a one-time rate increase for 2 years. And the gray dashes is option 2. It's the flat rate increase over 5 years. So as you can see, the 5 years obviously takes us.
Yeah.
Okay, my question is, in 2018, it shows that we have about a $500,000 a year deficit. I thought we had about $1 million a year deficit.
You can go back a few.
No, well, I don't want to see that big chart.
Another one? Another one? Yeah. Our deficit in fiscal year 17-18 was $484. Our fiscal estimated,
It's about a $500,000
Half-
deficit.
yes, our estimated for this fiscal year is $563. If no rate increase is adopted July 1st, next year we are almost at $1 million deficit.
What, why does it go from 563 to 911? I mean, that's what it shows is the deficit.
This is 232. I don't know where it came
No, move up,
That's without a rate increase above the blue
Oh,
line.
here?
Yes.
yeah.
Oh, okay. That's what was that without a rate increase?
Without a rate increase. The 232 is with the rate increase.
So we have a $500,000 deficit annually now.
It jumps to 9 because the consultant did calculate about a 3% hauler CPI increase because this April and May, CRNR is able to come to the board to ask for a CPI increase. So the projected 19-20 budgets and forward already count.
So 3% CIP increase is about $450,000
So that is the reason for the huge jump.
Yes, Mr. President.
The CPI for that 5-year period, does it automatically go up, or is it negotiated, or?
No, as you recall, in our contract we're assuming 3%. We don't know what the CPI is we won't know until next month, because it's February to February, and we still need to get that letter from CRNR to make that request. The board ultimately has that approval. You can either approve what they're requesting, or you can approve a lower amount if you want. Let's say the CPI is 3%. You can approve a 1.5% if you want to. Totally at your discretion.
Yeah. Well, I mean, is there like after the 5 years, do we renegotiate with them, or?
No, after 5 years, again, they can continue asking as CPIs, and again, it's up to the board for that discretion. That's why we do not put automatic CPI in there, because it's up to the board to make that decision.
Yeah, definitely, we don't want to.
No.
And that was consistent with the new contract we signed.
Correct. New contract, yeah. They cannot have an automatic CPI. It has to be approved by the board. Any questions? So we do have copy of the reports here, the study of the reports right here if you want some. Also, just an FYI, just a little plug, our Citizens Advisory Committee, which again has been a big help with these rates. We do have 6 vacancies coming up. So if you would like to serve on that Citizens Advisory Committee, we have some information. Please feel free to contact us and feel free to, if you want to serve on the committee, we'd love to have you. So March 20th. Yes. So, yeah. What?
She came late, so.
Oh, hi. Do you stick around? We could go over it real quick for you. So basically, the board's going to consider 2 options for the rate increases. One is option 1, and that is we'll have the rate increase from $18. This is your annual rate, what you see on your assessment, but it breaks down to $18 a month. It'll go to $19.95 a month, and that'll stay flat for the next year, 2020-21. And that is because during these 2 years, we will gather some data to find out where the variable cans are located. So, there's 90-gallon carts out there, there's 60-gallon carts, and there's 30-gallon carts. We know how many is out there, we just don't know where they're at. And we need to know where they're at so we can, if the board approves a variable rate, we have to charge those residents the correct rate. We don't want to charge someone a 90-gallon rate that actually, a 90-gallon cart when they have a 60-gallon cart. So we're going to gather that data. We do another study, determine what's the fair, equitable rate for all those 3 different sizes, and then we would do another Prop 218 hearing into 2021. That's option number 1. Go over option number 2 is just a flat rate, no matter what size cart you have. So if you have a 90-gallon, 60-gallon, 30-gallon, your rate would go up from $18 to $18.74 to ultimately $24.10, no matter what size you have. This is the recommendation that the Citizens Advisory Committee is recommending to the board, because they don't believe we should be spending $140,000 for a consultant to do an inventory. We have to also spend another $60,000 to purchase a financial system, and then another $40,000 for another rate study. Plus, there were concerns of some of the unknowns out there. They were fearful of some of the unknowns. So they felt this was a better, more equitable rate. And so the board will be considering these 2 options on March 12th. And then on March 12th, and then after that, we get our direction from the board. We'll prepare a Prop 218 notice to all the residents that goes out on April 4th, explaining the justifications for the rate increases. And if we don't get a protest, which is 51%, I think, 51% of 22,000 households, then the rates go in effect on July 1st. So that's it in a nutshell. Yeah, so, but I have the studies here. If you please feel free to take it home. If you have any questions, our contact information is over there. So just feel free to call us. The advisory committee is a discussion, an advisory board that makes recommendations to the board. It's a citizen committee, so we bring to them proposed ordinances, resolutions, new programs with our recommendations, and the committee could accept the recommendations, or they could tell us, go back to the drawing board, here are some other suggestions. It's really to help the board in their decision-making on procedures, policies, and ordinances. We meet here every other month, bi-monthly. So our next meeting's in March, and then we meet every other month, so 6 times a year. They're here at 6 o'clock? 6 o'clock. We usually last around about 7:30. 6:30? No, 6 to 7:30, right? Yeah. So it's a second Wednesday, thank you. Second Wednesday. So if you're interested, please fill in an application. We'd love to have you. It'd be great.
Aren't they thinking about going to 2 or 3 months?
Every other month, yes, yeah. Also, I'll do another plug. If you want to learn more about our programs, we have our Citizens Environmental Protection Academy, which George has participated in, right? And that you will actually see how the recyclables are being recycled. You learn when you flush a toilet, where does it go and what happens to it? What's that? Okay. Oh, okay. The environmental. Okay. We have that over here too, right? So we have. It's about ready to kick that off. So please pick that up and sign up, and love to have you. Great. Yeah. All right. Any more questions? Yes, George.
One more.
Mm-hmm.
I know this is the right meeting to ask about this. A, when is the latest contract with CRNR up? And B, is there given any thought to putting that contract out to bid to see if we can get better rates?
We just finished negotiations with CRNR, and the board just approved a new contract less than 6 months ago. The board has taken a position that we can receive a very competitive rate through negotiations. So the board did not want to go out to bid. They believes going out doing negotiation with CRNR. In fact, as a result of our negotiations, these are all the programs that we were able to implement from our negotiations with CRNR at no additional cost to you. So definitely, I think if you look at any other cities in the county, I don't believe they have this many programs for $19 a month, which you're paying for. So that answers your question. Yeah. Anything else? All right. Well, thank you very much for attending. I really appreciate it. Thank you.